Good morning. It's another beautiful Arkansas day. It's finally cold enough where I get to wear some layers out here, which I appreciate. It's cloudy. It's supposed to rain here in a little bit. It's misting a little bit right now, and it's just good, awesome weather to be outside in. I got a land nav course I'm instructing tomorrow. I've been really busy. We've had a lot of stuff going on, which I appreciate, right? But the things I want to talk about today is the three different uses for wood ash, right? And to do that, we got to have a fire. So we're going to build a fire right here on the edge of the classroom. So if it does start pouring down rain, it's not going to put our fire out. So let's get a fire going and let's talk about some wood ash. One thing I want to mention real quick too, you want to know the type of wood that you're burning, okay? I'm trying to use a bunch of hardwood stuff in here so I get a nice, good coal bed so I get good ash. Different woods make different things. So you just want to make sure you know what kind of wood you're burning in here so you're getting a better product. And I want this white fine stuff here. I'm trying to move it off to the side to give it a chance to cool off. Now, ideally, we'd wait till, in the morning till the fire was burned down and you could get this stuff. But since I'm doing it all right now, I'm going to try to make sure I got my little scooper here. I got my gloves on, obviously. I'm moving any chunks of red that I see. I'm moving those out away from my ash. And I'm trying to get all this white stuff piled up right here. And I'm going to let this cool off a while because that's what I want. Move all that red out of there. And now I got me a nice little pile of fine white ash that's kind of back away from the fire. All right, so I have my ash kind of separated out from the fire. I'm letting that cool off. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my shemagh here, and I'm going to lay this out on the ground. And I'm going to reach over here, making sure that ash isn't too hot because I've kind of pulled it off. I let it cool. I'm going to try to scoop up that ash using my little scooping stick here and my hands to make sure it's not too hot because I don't want to burn a hole in my shemagh. If I feel any heat, I'll just let it rest a little while or spread it out some more, let it cool off. I'm going to transfer all this on top of my shemagh. Okay, so one of the first uses of ash that we want to use, this stuff, this fine white powder, this really light, it's really fluffy. You can use this as a kind of a active body powder, right? You can see it started getting in my hands. If you're having any hot spots, if you need to treat your feet, trying to keep them dry, just to prevent from getting blisters and stuff. If you've ever done any type of rucking or hiking, foot powder, body powder, this would be the same thing, right? But you want to avoid using anything that has like grit in it or any abrasive stuff because where you're putting that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to prevent the abrasiveness of it. So if you put it in your shemagh like this, we'll be able to bundle up and apply to our body and it won't put any of that abrasive stuff. This will act as a filter so you can put it on your skin. All right, so now that we got it on our shemagh, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to try to ball it up to where that ash is there in the center of what I want, right? So now I got a little pocket of ash right there in the middle of my shemagh. And I can take it and apply it to my skin. You see how I'm getting covered in ash there? This is acting as my body powder now. And everything in there, I can still feel the grit and some abrasion and stuff in there. But you can see now, the only thing coming out is fine powder. So you can do this on your feet. You can do this on your groin. Do it on your armpits. This will help you smell a little better. This will help prevent some of those blisters and stuff that you're going to get if you're carrying and moving through the woods. And if you do it this way, if I collect a bunch of ash, I can bundle this up in my schmog, double wrap this, and I can take this with me. Now I have the ability to stop midday, take my boots off, take my socks off, let my feet air out, repowder them, and go on about my day. All right, so the next thing I want to cover, say, we're hunting for a long period of time, we're hiking for a long period of time, we're going to be out in the field multiple days, okay? Well, one thing you were going to want to do is, rotate your socks, rotate your underwear, that kind of stuff. Well, if we're starting to run low on some socks, we need to do some laundry. So I got a pot here, and I've only put about maybe a quart of water or so in here. I'm going to take my scoop, and I'm going to add some wood ash to this to make a slurry to start using that lye and those natural antibacterial stuff that's in this ash and start doing some laundry to wash my socks. I'm going to get my gloves on, just in case I grab anything that's still hot. But like I said, I got water in there, so I'm not really too worried about it. I just got to get some in there. I'm just going to reach in here and grab me some of this ash and throw it in there. I'm going to start stirring this up. It doesn't take a whole lot, but you definitely want to get enough that we're changing the color of the water in here. Now we want something that looks kind of like that. Now that we got it in there, all we're going to do is we're simply take our dirty sock, whatever we got, start washing this around just like you would in your washing machine at your house. And we want to make sure we wring this a couple times. And get all that really covered in there. And what we're feeling for any big gritty pieces, anything like that. And now when we're wringing that water, you can see it's coming out brown. It's coming out with that ash in it. Now you can do this, in a different pot or whatever. You just want to make sure we're going to dump this stuff out. We're going to get us some fresh, clean water in here and rinse this out really good. Try to get any extra dirt, all that extra ash that's in there out of here. So we don't want any of that friction or anything like that on our feet. All right, I got me a fresh pot of cleaner water, and you can already tell I threw that sock in there. It's already back to brown. So it doesn't take a lot of that ash to get back in there. And I'm just going to make sure I get all that out as much as I can. I'm going to wring it out really good. Now I can take this and dry it out by the fire. If it was a sunny day, I can hang it up outside. And all that extra heat, those UV rays, that ash being mixed in there, all this is going to help kill any bacteria, any stuff like that, and make our clothing last a little longer. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my old Boy Scout tin here. Take this part and get me a plate out of here. All right, so I have me some of this darker stuff in here from the fire, and I'm just going to take the round part of the stick and start smashing this down. I want to make this into a fine piece. And again, a little bit goes a long way. All right, now that I got this ground up nice and good, I'm going to add a little water to it and just make a little paste out of it. All right, now that we got that made into a paste, that's what we're looking for. Something along this consistency over here. I'm kind of tilt my bowl so I can get away from some of that excess water. But I want a paste. Gather all this up here and dredge it through there. All right, that's what we want. All right, so some of you can probably guess what we're going to use the ash for. We're going to use it kind of as a toothpaste. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking like, hey, go out here and we're going to get a chew stick and we're going to chew on it and we're going to make a toothbrush out of it. That's a terrible plan, in my opinion. I'm not putting a stick in my mouth and chewing on it because I could get a splinter. I'm just not going to put a stick in my mouth. And there's too many things that could go wrong. Most of the time, if I'm doing an overday hike or if I'm hunting or overdays or whatever, I carry a toothbrush with me. But say I'm out in the scenario and I don't have a toothbrush with me. I was just going on a day hike, and now I'm in a longer term situation where I'm out there. I'm going to take either my shirt or my shemagh or and my finger, or just my finger by itself, and I'm going to brush my teeth with this, because this is a lot safer. I've already processed down my paste here to try to get most of the abrasiveness out of it, to get anything that would be sharp. And I'm just going to take some of this and scoop it up on my shemagh and just start brushing my teeth. See, look, now nice and clean. I didn't get a splinter in my mouth, which is awesome. Putting a stick in your mouth, chewing on it, not about that, okay? And as a bonus, as an added feature, now I have this nice slurry in my dinner plate here. Now I can take that same shemagh and just start cleaning this out. Now I got some nice abrasive, a little bit of abrasive material in there. Clean my pot up, clean my dish. And again, all these different, that lye that's in there, the antibacterial stuff, it's going to just make your plates better too. All right, that wraps up today's video. Wood ash, it's very handy. Do some stuff. Hey, take some of that fine ash, wrap that up in your shemagh, keep that on your pack, treat your feet throughout the day, whatever you need to do. Brush your teeth. Don't use sharp sticks. It just makes sense, okay? Go to ArkansasSurvival.com. Check out our upcoming courses. And again, thanks for watching.